have some nuts, have some vegetables around, have a bottle of water as you're listening to this, get a warm, soft, thickish rug. So as I'm speaking, if it's giving you shivers, any of this is going to support you. See what helps, and maybe put a warm, thickish rug under your feet so you can keep your feet in there, so you're better grounded. And sit on a chair that's soft, cushiony. So you have the nature and nurture as you're growing up, listening to what I'm saying here. So you'll be better supported, yeah, better engaged with the material that's your own body, yeah. Well, people, I'm speaking from the beach. The beach is a fine place between the ocean and the land, yeah. And this is a place where humanity emerged as, let's just say, the mermaid to at some point, yeah, like the fish or the Matsyavatara. At some point over the cycles of evolution, became land-dwelling vertebrates, and then standing up on 2 feet, head on top, eyes facing forward, the human evolution story. Yeah. And along these lines came mammalian evolution, milk producing baby born in the body and not from an egg, like with a shell, and then lay the egg, and then from there the baby's born. No, from there, the entire gestational period in the body of a woman, milk producing. That means the baby, after being born, not hatched from an egg, is born and is then nurtured with the milk produced from the mommy's body. Yeah. And then, which means that much time, the baby has the time to be nurtured, healed, taken care of by the mother with the support of the community, to the point that then the baby slowly grows up into an upright standing, head on top, eyes facing forward, humane being. Yeah. And that means that takes so much more care, effort, investment, energy, what have you. So the person is now becoming an antisocial element. So humanity has come a long way from warring tribes to taking care of babies, such that we are looking at humane leadership, taking care of people, yeah, and living life in the multiverse. Humanity's come a long way. And for that, it requires, for the fabric of time-space, which is also the human body, let's just say the woman's body, being taken care of well enough, nurtured, cared for, not violence, which means violence needs to heal in how the human body, the woman's body is experienced, and how the woman's body is, I can't say the word handled, because that's also where abuse shows up. There are many instances which then kind of has the vaginal vault not be very conducive to growing babies, to being so supportive of babies. Because the history of mankind is written in the vaginal vault of a woman. Because human beings are birthed from a woman's body. You'd say, oh, in vitro fertilization. But those are not natural. If that was natural, our human body would have had those facilities, faculties. But we are not like a factory production. That may have been an alternative found to cope with the matter of growing up, what has the human body been doing? Yeah. Artificial intelligence also forms, but artificial intelligence does not replace, cannot replace what the human body naturally has been come about. For example, the other planets of the solar system and Earth is a testimony to what naturally becomes possible versus artificially tried, but not quite getting to what in the world is life. Yeah. And what is life making available? So artificial intelligence, in that sense, is a way to recognize, identify what is original humane intelligence, what is original intelligence. And it's got to be original humane intelligence, because that's what Earth is doing in this big wide universe, the big wide universe. There have been many attempts to look at what Earth is doing in the big wide universe. They haven't found yet. And I'm doing something. Since some time, I've had the indication that what I'm doing is new. I'm the new, and this hasn't happened before. And so I'm doing historically, which hasn't been possible earlier. Original humane intelligence. And that requires healing the fabric of time-space. Earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space. That's also our body. That's also the macrocosm. Universe, solar system, what have you. Yeah, galaxies, planets. We don't really have the idea of the universe, so cannot say universe because there are many universes within this black space that we call space. Yeah. There is a theory about multi universes layered within the universe, but I think they discarded that idea. But maybe because of lack of evidence or correlatory proof for that. But there is this theory out there. Yeah. But if you just look around people and we see people walking around with their own composition, they are like macro particles, like macro universe, micro in a space. They are not micro because WHO Assistive Disease is talking about they've not really studied the human body, or we haven't been able to study the human body, what it is. And I have the idea of the universe is made in the image of a man. That's the idea of the Shiva, the Linga, yeah. Shiva at least. And then I have a person-centric model of the universe. So the universe, as in a person, as a whole being, a whole entity, emerge from the whole. There is this Vedic verse that says, Purnamada, like that is whole, or this is whole. Purnamada, that. Purnamidam, yeah, as in and out is whole. Purnat Purnamudachyate. From the whole emerges the whole. Yeah. Purnasya, from the whole. Purnamadaya, with whole as the base, as the terra firma, so to speak. Purnameva, the whole always vashishyate, subsists, is sustained, is subsistible. Yeah, that way. So there's this verse. So healthier sperm and ovum, babies, we have birth rate control measures and many kinds of things. Birth rate improvement across different countries, yeah, requires for us to regard our own human bodies in a wholesomer way, in a humaner way, and by humanity across boundaries, which means abuse needs to stop. Yeah. For our own human bodies to be seen as a universe. So there are many layers, there are many sizes, shapes. Yeah. Females itself, you just look how many females are there. Males, you see how many shapes and sizes. Yeah. Children, you see, seniors, adults. So this place that we call as the black matter, dark, has many layers, many sizes, like how we see galaxies. Yeah. Many sizes, shapes, ways of functioning. Yeah. Human beings around us, if you just look, this is like the universe in walkie-talkie format. And then as we regard our own human bodies humanely, birth rates show up. That's also how new universes are forming. Yeah. And history of mankind is written in the vaginal vault of a woman. At some point, I closed the back doors. That means there is no going back. It's moving forward and doing what it takes to heal the fabric of time space, become healthy, wealthy, wise, have life work, have our relationships work, have our substance be good enough, better, not bitter, bitter, and then go, life's not working. This is how people are. And digest the bitter, bitter butter to better butter. In the sense, butter is formed from the milk, which is basically milk of human kindness, milk from kindness. Cows, for example, they have at least four uh, stomachs by which to digest the matter. Mothers, they don't form milk out of nowhere. It's because there are kids that they care about, care for, that there is milk. And it's not like, oh, milk producing organisms. No, there is something that works. That's a whole physiology that works in a mother's system by which care then has milk flow, which means babies formed from their body, carried for so long, and for whose nurture milk is required. And then from milk is butter that's formed. If butter is bitter, if your own cares are bitter, or you're getting a little bitter about the care received, your body has a capability of converting that bitter into better butter. And then as butter clarifies from the heat of your own body, yeah, that's when clarified butter, ghee, is formed with further processing. And ghee is good for metabolism, which means it converts that which is not working into sacred, to that which is love and true love. And love heals wounds over time. So ghee does something. But this is the ghee that needs to kind of form from your own humane body. And that transmutes diseases into life and living substance, which our human body is capable of. So we begin from our, I can't say Mooladhara, but that's also Mooladhara in that sense, that the history of mankind is written in the vaginal vault of a woman. And that's also the reproductive whole for a man, for a woman. Mooladhara, we wouldn't have a body that's human. We wouldn't have a life. We weren't born. So our relationship with our wholes is not just the Mooladhara is not just the perineum, but it's also there are three holes. So let's say vaginal hole, the reproductive hole, and a relationship with sex, love. Sometimes get a little yucky because what in the world is love? But your body got nurtured to the way it got nurtured. You would say it's, abusive or not good enough, not well enough. You have a body that's human. And your body wouldn't form if there was not care, love, that's conducive enough to form a human body. So you may have received some form of love, and your metabolism, your body, whatever is composition from past lives, several ways of looking at others, learning from others, your body has formed and is alive today, which means your metabolism has been good enough to maintain being a human body, which means you've been transmuting what hasn't worked, couldn't work, into human body sustaining form. So your metabolism is there on enough to have a body that's human. So in the womb or outside the womb, your body has been doing something to maintain a human body and a human physiology. And then there is still stories, what works, what doesn't work, they do this. And then you have your job positions in the different areas of life. And then it's about doing the right things by which you're maintaining being healthy, wealthy, wise, alive in such a way that we're maintaining humanity across boundaries, not wanting to kill off others. If you're having thoughts about killing off others, you need to work on your metabolism such that you're going beyond violent tendencies. I help with what it takes to go beyond those violent tendencies. And that's what I call as healthier natural breathing. So there are things that works, don't work. You have your own idea of what works, what doesn't work. But violent tendencies is an indication that something is not working as well. Or there are sharps, pokey stuff. The idea of Jesus on the cross, is about with a thorny crown, which means there are some things about love that doesn't work. It pokes us inside. And we need to be able to digest those pokey stuff. So our sense and sensibilities is not going off. And then you go into violent practices, not working. Because that's what got Jesus on the cross, kind of. It chased away the devils instead of working with the devils, kind of, they say shadow work, light work, shadow work. But it's not about chasing away the devils or letting go, which is also kind of like chasing away the devils, but to work with the cares, not cares, likes, dislikes, yeah? Metabolize, which means transmute what doesn't work, hate, violence, what have you, into life and living substance. And that's what love does in the whole schema of things called humans. What work is love doing? Heals the fabric of time-space, which is what didn't go well, like from the Big Bang. During the Big Bang, something didn't work. So that which takes to heal the fabric of time-space and keep things together, what yoga makes available. If yoga is having you go a little away from caring about yourself, people around you, future generations, yoga is not happening as well as it needs to, which means metabolism is not happening as well. They say even raise your heat. The heat raises. And when that heat raises, it's not about, oh, you could go into blissful states, but that's also something which you need to go beyond. Or go into, hallucinatory, yeah. It's not, oh, oomph. That could be a little bit of sexuality. But that's also from when the self, different layers of your own self is coming together, there may be an experience of sexuality, sexual arousal. But that's kind of different kinds of heat. If you're going to get lost in the heat, in the different forms of heat, then you could be getting a little lost. I call it as mysticism. Yeah, you say tantra, but it's also a certain cannabinoid hallucinatory effects, which is then taking away from the clarity of shanti, or that which is not sexuality, but love. You don't see love. You could get lost in the sexuality of the matter. And to that extent, you're not coming to love. And it is love that heals wounds over time. And that love matures to true love. So if you're getting lost in sexuality, you're coming to a stop. Yeah? And to that extent, your fluids, your bodily capabilities, what the blood is capable of, the heat, that is not transmuting into that which heals, that which arises from the viscosity of the blood. Thick, they say blood is thicker than water, but that thickness is not allowing you to see um, the different forms of love, the different aspects of what love really is, and love of the form that heals wounds over time, that has you come to humanity across boundaries. That takes paying attention to the Mooladhara. You could say, oh, Swadhisthana. You could get lost in the oh, Swada of it. Yeah. Like your food, intimacy, your water, your thickness, hyaluronic acid. You're like, oh, as you go go for that. Yeah. Or you could get so lost in it and not come to the fine aspect of it. That's what I call as fine living. We're not just getting into, oh, you say, oh, devil's work. But you need to go through the devil to come to the fine, the Garden of Eden. It's a tree of wisdom. But wisening requires you to go beyond the getting lost into that. Yeah. To the fine aspect. That's the garden of life, and not just the like microbes. Yeah. Reproduce and produce, and then not really humane. You're kind of stuck in the microbial or the animal or the plant even. Plants also, for example, you're eating, say, a brinjal, pineapples. They have pokey stuff. That's basically to make sure that babies are growing. Yeah, which means pokey, yeah. I'll kill you because if you're going to not allow my babies to grow, then I'll kill you. Yeah. So there is violence, but that plants, animals, they're also teaching something. And when you're kind, understanding of what life has made available through the vegetables you're eating, if you're not understanding of the cycles of life that evolution has gone through, made available, by which our human body is formed, which means there are pokies, there are these, oh, eat tendencies, and not quite seeing that there is metabolism that's happening in your body. Metabolism that is not food dependent, where our body, for example, we say gluconeogenesis, we say mitochondria, we say muscles needing energy, needing water. That's there. But do you know how much of water do we need? Do you know how much of food do we need? And what kind? We say high protein. We need to have a high protein. But a DNA itself is making proteins in response to what's going into our body. And how much? This is, you say, biofeedback. But a human body is making food, proteins, and not knowing what our body is already making. We say, oh, protein. Yeah. Water. Yeah. 4 liters of water. You can go on diet with just having water. Maybe it's also been necessary because they may have been like not had water for don't know how many life cycles. Yeah. That they've been so stressed and dehydrated that their body has been consuming a lot of the already available energy and then eating up on the electrolytes to the point that their cells have gotten so dehydrated that they've now had to drink like 4 liters of water or go on a diet that's only about water so that their bodies can replenish from how much stress their body has been going through. So maybe those people who have gone on a water only diet require that much to replenish the body composition. Maybe you require more vegetables, who knows? Yeah, or maybe you just need a little more care. So you can maybe use a little thick rug blanket. Yeah. So you can just cover yourself and feel that softness of it by your own skin. Yeah. So you can feel nurture, softness, warmth, care that you can provide for yourself. So you have an experience of you can care for yourself and not depend on somebody else for the care that you can provide yourself too. And then there are other people also whose care you may not have experienced is there in many forms. So there could be grief. Yeah. This is also maybe coming from what you haven't known about yourself since some time, that you already have this. And then there are many layers like this. Yeah. So sexuality may be coming from not knowing these different levels, layers within your own consciousness, conscience about your own awareness of your own human body, different levels of growth, care, love, nurture. There are several layers of what we haven't known about ourselves. Yeah. So sexuality, when you encounter that, that's part of some more layers of your own self coming together. But don't get lost in sexuality, the sexiness of the matter. Oh, it's just, yeah, juicy, nice. Don't get lost in it. Know that that is part of some of the human basics. Sexiness, part of the human basics. But it's love. That's an experience. It's fine. And to have the experience of love, you would need to get in touch with care. What do you care about? If you come to don't care, to that extent, you need to maybe experience your own sexiness, sexuality, not with another person, but alone with yourself. And it's not about masturbation, but it's about you recognizing, oh, that sexiness. Yeah, there's a certain sexiness about your skin, about the different holes, about your relationship with yourself. And it's not when you imagine somebody else, but that sense of sexiness itself, like warmth is different from hot, is different from cool, is different from cold. Heaviness is different from lightness, is different from um, tension, is different from no tension. It's just easy. Now, what does easy feel like? What does tension feel like? What does push feel like? What does pull feel like? Okay, I said it the other way. This is push and this is pull. But do you know your left from your right, your front from your back, your up from your down, your in from your out? And then there is also out from your in. Because you go in, out. So what does out from in feel like? You could say left from right, but do you know what right from left is? Yeah. For example, there is writing. English is written from left to right. Urdu from right to left. Japanese, Chinese, okay. Up to down. Yeah. What is down to up feel like? Yeah. And there is front to back and back to fronto. Directions. Yeah. When you can have a sense of, oh, there are these things happening in our own body, not in relationship with somebody else, but while you're sitting alone. Do you have an experience of these different tensions, push pull, warmth, hot, cool, cold, sexiness? What does sexiness feel like? And what is that sexiness about? Is it about sometimes, oh, food? Yeah. Some textures of food gives you that sense of sexiness, but it's not in relationship with something else or somebody else. You have, oh, the sense of animal sexiness. Yeah. But then maybe that's your relationship with that animal nature of your own. A body is like a forest in and of itself. There are microbes, there are plants, there are animals. There is earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space. There could be a certain sexiness about space, about fire, about water. And you think, oh, it's about, oh, that water or that animal or that plant. If you don't act out and notice sexiness about yourself, within your own self, when you're alone, yeah, it could be a sound, it could be a sight that just has you that sense of sexiness. If you can get in touch with that experience of it, you know that there is some levels of some relationship with that aspect of you, not with another, that you haven't encountered, that you haven't known. You don't have a relationship within your own self, with your own self. Sometimes you tend to act out with children, for example, sexual behavior, abusive. That's because there is a relationship with the child aspect within your own self, which means, like, say, poiesis, like when there is a new cell forming. Yeah, there could be a sexiness about it. But if you act out with your own child, for example, with other children, you don't know that it's an urge, a sexiness within your own bodily development. These are physiological aspects. And acting out on them is what then causes abuse. You're not the wholesomeness of a human being, this is what a human body is like. This is the anatomy and physiology of a human body. And a humane being is when there is an understanding of the human body, of the human physiology, and then functioning from the understanding of it, knowing of it, not acting out, but supporting ourselves, our own growth and development, and the growth and development of people around us. From recognizing that there are stages of development not understood, not recognized. The human body hasn't been studied as well as it needs to. I'm speaking now because there are many things that is not commonly spoken about. Yeah, so I'm doing the dirty, I'm the bad person, kindly excuse, but there are some things which we need to speak about, and there is not many spaces from which these are to be heard or could be heard, or so I'm doing the big work. Ooh, unless we've been speaking in terms of this, and I'm this person whom now, okay, this is from my learning, my research development, observing of life and in different forms. Yeah. So if any of this makes sense to you, doesn't make sense to you, I recommend try sitting a little alone by yourself and notice if there are any of these urges. Yeah. Not just with sex, but also with food, water. And it's not just about sexiness, but it's about, do you feel like eating something? And what would that be? Is it a vegetable? And is it because of the color? Is it because of you're hungry? And where does your hunger seem like? Is it in the pelvis? Is it in your stomach, about your intestines, about your solar plexus, which is about the region between your um, well, heart region and your intestine region? Is it somewhere in between there? Where is the hunger? Is it your heart region? Is it your throat region? Is it your face region? Or is it the top of your head region? Where is the hunger? Or is it your knees, which is hungry? Or your ankles, which is hungry? Or the bottom of your feet, which is hungry? Or is it the back of your body, which is hungry? Yeah. Elbows, are your elbows hungry? Your shoulders, are your shoulders hungry? Yeah. Notice where's the hunger. Okay. And try and notice what's the kind of hunger. If you act upon that, to that extent is the level of hunger that you want to just act out rather than notice what's that hunger about. It could just be that you need some coconut water. And coconut water nurtures you from within. So you can grow up like has it has keratin, it has growth factors that enables you to complete those developmental processes so that you can have that space of a human body, of a humane being, of a growing person who needs those nurturing factors by which you can develop more wholly, completely, as a human being needs to, as a humane being needs to. Yeah. So cucumbers help. Tender coconut water helps. Milk to the extent that you can, even if it's just a little few spoons of even curd helps, because that helps to strengthen your muscles, your nerves, some of the tension maybe from not having curd. Yeah. Or if you can have dosa, for example, there is some yeast, there are some very fine biochemical processes, biophysiological processes that then makes the dosa batter, dosa form. Vinegar sometimes, yeah. Apple cider vinegar, it has mother. In the sense, there's a certain nurture, there's a certain forming factor that then supports human development. Yeah. Um, so there are some ingredients, some factors like this which helps. My kombucha microbes, they help in the developmental processes. They nurture, they support from within. Um, Vaccination, for example, has been doing the work of providing those microorganisms, which is necessary for the human development. Yeah. And then regularly having these microbe enriched products then helps support the body. Yeah. Taking a dip in a pool, swimming pool, nurtures your nervous system and your ability for handling order, because there could be a lot of order happening, but the wavy nature, the unknown order, for example, in a swimming pool, there's this unknown order, which then helps our nerves recognize everything is not all fixed and figured out. The wavy nature supports our body to handle there are unknown order. You could say it's chaos. There is many factors that makes a human body. So in a mother's womb, baby has been having the time of that unknown order in the amniotic fluid. As a mother is moving, as a baby is moving, there's this unknown order happening, which also form the human body. Outside the mother's womb, you're not spending time in the pool or in a water. Yeah, you may be having bucket bath, but sometimes the shower hitting our body may be a little or prickly pokely. Yeah. A bathtub, for example, would help. Yeah. Swimming pool, if you can get access to a little bit of time, and that will help you restore that sense of the baby. Not everything is figured out. That a little unknown order. That's the wavy nature of water. Yeah. A human body formed from these wavy natures. Yeah. So I hope this helps. What I'm talking about here, if it's a little difficult, try having some, I should be telling this in the beginning of the video itself, have some nuts, have some vegetables around, have a bottle of water as you're listening to this, get a warm, soft, thickish rug. So as I'm speaking, if it's giving you shivers, any of this is going to support you. See what helps, and maybe put a warm, thickish rug under your feet so you can keep your feet in there so you're better grounded, and sit on a chair that's soft, cushiony. So you have the nature and nurture as you're growing up, listening to what I'm saying here. So you'll be better supported, yeah, better engaged with the material that's your own body, yeah, because the human body is my specialty. This is what I have been working on. I call it the book of life, yeah. I've been studying the human body, my own body, as a book. And there are so many factors about what makes a human body a human body. Kabir Das has been saying, a body is like a weave, a fine weave. And what does it take to maintain it being original? While there are so many effects from teachers and different influences having their own colors, their own flavors on the fabric of the body. Yeah. And what does it take to maintain the weave, just like how originally um, Kabir Das came into existence? Yeah. So, which means each of us, what does it take to maintain being original is one of the compositions that Kabir Das wrote. So, Genie, the composition is called Genie. Yeah, Genie. Um, Genie Chadariya, Beanie Chadariya. So, okay, Genie, yeah. So, Chadar is like a weave or the tapestry. The movie Brave, Disneyland's composition, Brave, is talking about the tapestry. What does it take to put together the tapestry? Yeah. It's also the fabric of time space, but it's also our body. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been of value to you. Do let me know. We can have smaller conversation or how to work with this book of life. Yeah. We all getting better. So these are some difficult conversations, but necessary to be spoken about in our own ways as we are working with the material. Becomes easier. Yeah. Humanity across boundaries becomes more easier. Because each of us are a universe. And when you're walking amongst the public, we are walking in the multiverse. Yeah. Each of us having our own universes. Yeah. So this is what Sanatana Dharma, many textbooks have been talking about, but we couldn't quite understand what they're saying because this perspective may have been missing, may not have been able to be thought about. So it is all because of me. But then I also have my human fears and what to say, what not to say. You know, I'm like a small person, don't want to disrupt too many things. Yeah. So there's always a right time for everything. So maybe this was the time when I had to speak or could speak. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.